Shivasade. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Canto 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on chapter 21. We have been reading about the movement of the sun, how the sun is right in the middle of the universe, and how the sun is moving at different speeds, which is causing the difference of the length of the day and night. And we heard yesterday that the total diameter of our universe is 4 billion miles. Yeah. So we'll continue reading. Or does anyone remember anything else or wanted to add something else?
Yes, Hare Krishna. I wanted to add from yesterday what we were reading about the sun moving counterclockwise or clockwise. I just searched on the Google. It says depends from where we see. We were reading from the text 8, 9 somewhere. And I read that it says that it's moving counterclockwise. It's like it depends from where we are seeing, because they were talking about the living entities who are living with the sun overhead. It's like, the fan, it's actually moving counterclockwise when we see from down. But if we see from above the fan, then it looks like it's looking clockwise, right? So it's the same way, because it's going around, it's traveling around. We are not able to, it depends on where we are standing actually and seeing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's okay. Hare Krishna.
Clarifying that. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Did anyone else want to add anything? Okay.
No.
So, Yada Chendriya Purya Prachalate Panchadasha Ghatika Bhir Yam Yam.
Yada Chendriya Purya Prachalate Panchadasha Ghatika Yam Yam.
Sapadakoti Dvayam Yojananam Sardha Dvatasha Lakshani Sadikani Chopyate.
Sapadakoti Dvayam Yojananam Sardha Dvadasha Lakshani Sadikani Chopayati.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When the sun travels from Devdhani, the residence of Indra, to Samyamani, the residence of Yamraj, it travels 23,775,000 yojanas. That's 190,200,000 miles in 15 ghatikas, 6 hours. That's very fast speeds. So in 6 hours, it's traveling 190,200,000 miles. The distance indicated by the word sadikani is Panchavimshati Sahasradikani, or 25,000 yojanas. That plus 2.5 crores and 12.5 laksha of yojanas is the distance the sun travels between each two cities. This comes to 23,775,000 yojanas, or 190,200,000 miles. The total orbit of the sun is 4 times that distance, or 95,100,000 yojanas, 760,000, 800,000 miles. So this is the total orbit is 4 times the distance, because this is just traveling from Devdhani to Samyamani. but then it has to go from Samyamani to, I guess, it has to go all the 4 places, I guess. So that's why it's 4 times. Okay. Evam tato varunim saumyam aindrim cha punastathanyi cha.
Evam tatha varunim saumyam indrim cha punah tatha cha.
Graha somadayo nakshatre saha jyotis chakre sambhayudyanti saha va nimlochanti.
Graha soma adaya nakshatre saha jyoti chakre sambhayudhyanti sahava nimlochanti.
From the residence of Yamraj, the sun travels to Nimlochani, the residence of Varuna, from there to Vibhavari, the residence of the moon god, and from there again to the residence of Indra. In a similar way, the moon, along with the other stars and planets, becomes visible in the celestial sphere and then sets and again becomes invisible. In Bhagavad Gita 10.21, Krishna says, Nakshatranam aham shashi. Of stars, I am the moon. This indicates that the moon is similar to the other stars. The Vedic literature informs us that within this universe, there is one sun which is moving. The Western theory that all the luminaries in the sky are different suns is not confirmed in the Vedic literature. Nor can we assume that these luminaries are the suns of other universes. For each universe is covered by various layers of material elements, and therefore, although the universes are clustered together, we cannot see from one universe to another. In other words, whatever we see is within this one universe. In each universe, there is one Lord Brahma, and there are other demigods on other planets, but there is only one sun. So every universe has its own sun. It's not that we are looking outside into the other universe. No, because the universe is packed up, with very thick layers of this earth, water, air, fire, ether, and each is 10 times thicker than the previous one. So it's like really packed up. There's no window to look outside the universe. So yeah. One sun, one Lord Brahma in every universe. Evam muhurtena chatustrim shallaksha yojanani ashtas shatadikani.
Evam muhurtena chatutrishatam lakshya yojanani ashtashatikani.
Sauro rathastrai mayosav chatashru parivartate purishu.
Sauratasya chashru parivartate purishu.
Thus the chariot of the sun god, which is Traimaya, or worshipped by the words Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, travels through the 4 residents mentioned above at a speed of 3,400,800 yojanas, which is 27,206,400 miles in a muhurta. So the sun is moving at very high speeds. Very high speed. Yasyekam chakram dvadasharam sannemi trinabhi.
Yasya ekam chakram dvadashah aram shatnemi trinabhi.
Samvatsaratmakam samamam nanti tasyaksho meror murdani krito.
Samvatsara atmakam samananti akshamero murdani kritaha.
Manasotare krite tarabhago yatra protam ravi ratha chakram.
मासोपरि
Sotarikrito
कृतर्भागो यत्र
Bhagavatra
रविरथचक्रम्
Tela yantra chakravad brahman manasotara girau paribramati.
तैलयञ्चक्रवद्
Brahma
मानसोत्तरगिरोपरिब्रह्मति
The chariot of the sun god has only one wheel, which is known as Samvatsara. The 12 months are calculated to be its 12 spokes. The 6 seasons are the sections of its rim, and the 3 Chaturmasya periods are its 3-sectioned hub. One side of the axle carrying the wheel rests upon the summit of Mount Sumeru, and the other rests upon the Manasotara mountain. Affixed to the outer end of the axle, the wheel continuously rotates on Manasotara mountain like the wheel of an oil pressing machine. So the chariot of the sun god, how many wheels it has?
One.
One wheel. And what is it called?
Samvatsara.
Samvatsara. Thank you. And then it seems there are 12 spokes. And what are they?
The months.
The 12 months. Yeah. So there are 12 spokes, and those are the 12 months. And the sections of the rim, what are these?
Seasons.
The seasons. And then what are the 3 Chaturmasya periods?
The section hubs.
That's the hub. Yeah. And one side of the axle carrying the wheel, it's resting on what?
Mount Sumeru, the summit of Mount Sumeru.
Summit of Mount Sumeru. So it's on top of Mount Sumeru. And the other one is on?
Manasotara mountain.
Yeah. And it's continuously rotating on?
The outer end of the axle.
Yeah. On the Manasotara mountain. And it's saying it's like the wheel of an oil pressing machine. So like that, it's continuously going on and on, the chariot of the sun god. Tasmin akshe kritamolo dvityokshasas turyamanena samitastaila.
तस्मिन् कृतमूलद्वय सूर्यमानेन स्मितातिल्
Yantrakshavaddhruve krito paribhagah.
यन्त्र अक्षवृद्धूवे कृतोपरिभागः
As in an oil pressing machine, this first axle is attached to a second axle, which is 1/4 as long, 3,937,500 yojanas, or 31,500,000 miles. The upper end of this second axle is attached to Dhruva Loka by a rope of wind. So it seems it's attached to Dhruva Loka also. Yeah, well, I guess we just have our own kind of imaginations. Each of us may be imagining it in another way. But this is what is the description of the chariot of the sun god. Rathanidas tu satrimshal laksha yojana yatastatturya bhagas.
रडनीडतु षट्त्रिशतलक्षयोजन आयतः तत्तूर्यभागः
Vishalastavan ravi ratha yugo yatra hayas chandonamana.
विशालतावान् रविरथयुगः यत्र हयाच्छन्दनामानः
Saptaruna yojita vahanti devam adityam.
सप्त आरुणयोजिता बहन्ति देवम् आदित्यम्.
My dear king, the carriage of the sun god's chariot is estimated to be 3.6 million yojanas, 28.8 million miles long, and 1/4 as wide, 900,000 yojanas or 7.2 million miles. The chariot's horses, which are named after Gayatri, and other Vedic meters are harnessed by Aruna Dev to a yoke that is also 900,000 yojanas wide. This chariot continuously carries the sun god. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated, Gayatri cha brati ushnig, jagati trishtup evacha, anushtup panktir iti uktas, chandamsi harayo rave. The 7 horses yoked to the sun god's chariot are named Gayatri, Brahati, Ushnik, Jagati, Trishtup, Anushtup, and Pankti. These names of various Vedic meters designate the 7 horses that carry the sun god's chariot. So how many horses are there on the sun god's chariot?
7.
7.
7. Yeah. And they are named after the
Gayatri mantra.
Gayatri, yeah, and other Vedic mantras, meters. And who's the chariot driver?
Dev.
Aruna Dev, yeah. Okay. Purastat Savitur Aruna Paschak cha Niyukta Sautya Karmani Kelaste.
Purastat savitu arun paschat niyukta sauti kil asate.
Although Aruna Dev sits in front of the sun god and is engaged in driving the chariot and controlling the horses, he looks backward toward the sun god. In the Vayu Puran, the position of the horses is described. Saptashva Rupa Chandamsi Vahante Vamato Ravim Chakra Paksha Nibaddhani Chakre Vaksha Samahita. Although Aruna Dev is in the front seat controlling the horses, he looks back towards the sun god from his left side. So he's riding the chariot in the front, but from his left, he's looking back at the sun god. His face is toward the sun god, and he's moving the chariot, controlling the horses. Tatha Valikhilya Rishayo Ngushta Parva Matra Shasti Sahasrani.
तथा बालिखिल्या ऋषयो अष्टौ पर्वमात्रा सृष्टि सहस्राणि.
Purata Suryam Sukta Vakaya Niyukta Samstuvanti.
पुरतः सूर्यं सुउक्तवाकयः नियुक्ता संस्तुवन्ति.
There are 60,000 saintly persons named Valikhilians, each the size of a thumb, who are located in front of the sun god and who offer him eloquent prayers of glorification. So how many of these saintly persons are there?
60,000.
60,000. And what are they called?
Rishigan.
What they are called?
Valikhilya.
Yeah.
Valikhilya.
Valikhilya. And their size is?
Thumb. Just the
Thumb.
size
And
of
what
thumb.
are they doing?
They're offering the prayers of glorification to sun god.
Yeah, so he's not alone, eh? There's so many personalities of following him and being with him. We look at the sun in the sky and we think he's alone. Huh?
Sorry, but maybe the bright redness, sometimes when we see when the sun rises, it is so beautiful. And I was just imagining that maybe it is, they're glorifying and something is happening, definitely. Now, as we are
Yeah,
reading.
yeah, never know. Yeah.
Yeah, we never know. Yeah. So, sorry.
Tathanye cha rishayo gandharvapsaraso naga gramanyo yatu dhana.
तथा अन्ये च ऋषयो गन्धर्व अप्सरस नागा गम्रण्य यातु धाना
Deva iti ekaikasho gana sapta chaturdasha masi masi bhagavantam.
देवा इति एकश गणा सप्त चतुर्दश मासी मासी भगवन्तम्
Suryam atmanam nana namanam prathannana namana prathak karma bhir dvandvashas upaste.
सूर्यम् आत्मानं नानानाम्नं पृथक् नानानामान् पृथक् कर्मभिः त्वन्तशः उपासते.
Similarly, 14 other saints, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, and demigods, who are divided into groups of two, assume different names every month and continuously perform different ritualistic ceremonies to worship the Supreme Lord as the most powerful demigod Surya Dev, who holds many names. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated, Stuvanti Munaya Suryam Gandharver Giyate Puraha Nrityanto Saraso Yanti Suryas Yano Nishachara Vahanti Panaga Yakshe Kriyate Bhishush Sangraha Vali Khilyas Tathaivainam Parivarya Samasate Soyam Sapta Gana Surya Mandale Muni Sattama Him Moshna Vari Vrishtinam Hetutve Samyam Gataha. Worshipping the most powerful demigod Surya, the Gandharvas sing in front of him, the Apsaras dance before the chariot, the Nishacharas follow the chariot, the Panagas decorate the chariot, the Yakshas guard the chariot, and the saints called the Valikilyas surround the sun god and offer prayers. The 7 groups of 14 associates arrange the proper times for regular snow, heat, and rain throughout the universe. So, this is also, there's a reference also in the Vishnu Purana about that, the sun god, how there's various Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Yakshasas, Rakshas, and demigods. They are performing so much worship to the sun god. They are divided into groups of 2. Groups of 2. So like that, there are 7 groups because it's writing 14 other saints. So that's why the Vishnu Puran is saying 7 groups of 14 associates. So he's not alone. There's the 60,000 Valikilyas, and then there are the Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nishacharas, Panagas, Yakshas. So, Lakshotaram Sartan Navakoti Yojana Parimandalambu.
लक्ष उत्तरं सार्धनवकोटि योजनः परिमण्डलम्
Valayasya Shanina Sagavyuti Uttaram Dvisahasra Yojanani Sabhunte.
वल्लस्य श्रणेन सङ्गव्यूति उत्तरसहस्रयोजनानि प्रवृत्ते.
My dear king, in his orbit through Bhumandala, the sun god traverses a distance of 95.1 million yojanas, 760,800,000 miles at the speed of 2,000 yojanas and 2 kroshas, 16,004 miles in a moment. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 21st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Movements of the Sun. So we can see how the sun god is so powerful. He is such an important uh, duty, such an important service that he's performing in this universe, and that's why he is worshipped by so many great personalities. It's moving really fast. 16,004 miles in a moment, one moment. We are sitting in one place and he's crossed 16,004 miles. Chapter 22, the orbits of the planets. Did anyone want to add anything, comment anything? Okay. In this chapter, the orbits of the planets are described according to the movements of the moon and other planets. All the inhabitants of the universe are prone to auspicious and inauspicious situations. This is referred to as the influence of the stars, the sun god, who controls the affairs of the entire universe, especially in regard to heat, light, seasonal changes, and so on, is considered an expansion of Narayan. He represents the three Vedas, Rig, Yajur, and Sam, and therefore he is known as the Trayimaya, the form of Lord Narayan. Sometimes the sun god is also called Surya Narayan. The sun god has expanded himself in 12 divisions, and thus he controls the 6 seasonal changes and causes winter, summer, rain, and so on. Yogis and karmis following the Varnashrama institution, who practice Hatha or Ashtanga Yoga, or who perform Agnihotra sacrifices, worship Surya Narayan for their own benefit. The demigod Surya is always in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, residing in outer space, which is in the middle of the universe, between Bhulok and Bhuvarlok. The sun rotates through the time circle of the zodiac, represented by 12 rashis or signs, and assumes different names according to the sign he is in. For the moon, every month is divided into 2 fortnights. Similarly, according to solar calculations, a month is equal to the time the sun spends in one constellation. 2 months constitute one season, and there are 12 months in a year. The entire area of the sky is divided into 2 halves, each representing an ayana, the course traversed by the sun within a period of 6 months. The sun travels sometimes slowly, sometimes swiftly, and sometimes at a moderate speed. In this way, it travels within the 3 worlds, consisting of the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and outer space. These orbits are referred to by great learned scholars by the names Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Idavatsara, Anuvatsara, and Vatsara. So this is the orbits of the planets. Okay, the moon is situated 100,000 yojanas above the rays of the sunshine. Day and night on the heavenly planets and Pitralok are calculated according to its waning and waxing. So the lunar calendar. Above the moon, by a distance of 200,000 yojanas, are some stars. And above these stars is Shukra Graha, Venus, whose influence is always auspicious for the inhabitants of the entire universe. Above Shukra Graha by 200,000 yojanas is Buddha Graha, Mercury, whose influence is sometimes auspicious and sometimes inauspicious. Next, above Buddha Graha by 200,000 yojanas is Angarak, Mars, which almost always has an unfavorable influence. Above Angarak by another 200,000 yojanas is the planet called Brihaspati Graha, Jupiter, which is always very favorable for qualified brahmanas. Above Brihaspati Graha is the planet Shaneshchara, Saturn, which is very inauspicious. And above Saturn is a group of 7 stars occupied by great saintly persons who are always thinking of the welfare of the entire universe. These 7 stars circumambulate Dhruv, which is the residence of Lord Vishnu within this universe. Rajovacha.
Rajovacha.
Yat etad bhagavata adittasya merum dhruvam cha pradakshina.
एतद् भगवतः आदित्यस्य मेरुं ध्रुवं च प्रदक्षिणे
Parikramato rashinam abhimukham prachalitam cha pradakṣinam.
परिक्रामतो राशिनाम् अपि प्रचलितं च प्रदक्षिणम्
Bhagavato pavarnitam amushyavayam katham anumimi mahiti.
भगवतोपवर्णमक्षव्यं कथम् अनु मिमिमहिति.
King Parishit inquired from Sukadev Goswami, "My dear Lord, you have already affirmed the truth that the supremely powerful sun god travels around Dhruvalok with both Dhruvlok and Mount Sumeru on its right. Yet, at the same time, the sun god faces the signs of the zodiac and keeps Sumeru and Dhruvalok on his left. How can we reasonably accept that the sun god proceeds with Sumeru and Dhruvalok on both his left and right simultaneously?" So Parikshit Maharaj is saying, he's on the left and they on the right. How come? Sahovacha.
स उवाच
Yatha kulala chakrena brahmata saha brahmatam tad ashrayanam.
यथा कुलालचक्रेण भ्रमता सह ब्रह्मतां तद् आश्रयाणाम्
Pipili kadinam gatir anyeva pradeshantareshiva api.
पिपीलिकादीनां गतिरन्येव प्रदेशान्तरेषु अपि
Upalabhyamantavad evam nakshatra rashibir upalakshitena kala.
उपलभ्यमानं त्वाद् एवं नक्षत्र राशिभिरुपलक्षितेन काल
Chakrena dhruvam merum cha pradakshinena paridhavata saha.
चक्रेण ध्रुवं मेरुं च प्रदक्षिणेन परिधावता सह
Paridhavamananam tad ashrayanam suryadinam graha nam gatir.
परिधावमानानां तत् आश्रयाणां सुतीर्थ गहानं गतिर्
Anyeva nakshatrantare rashi antare chopalabhyamanatvan.
अन्येव नक्षत्रान्तरे राशि अन्तरे चोपलभ्यमानात्
The Sukadev Goswami clearly answered, when a potter's wheel is moving and small ants located on that big wheel are moving with it, one can see that the motion is different from that of the wheel because they appear sometimes on one part of the wheel and sometimes on another. Similarly, the signs and constellations with Sumeru and Dhruv on their right move with the wheel of time, and the ant-like sun and other planets move with them. The sun and planets, however, are seen in different signs and constellations at different times. This indicates that their motion is different from that of the zodiac and the wheel of time itself. So Sukadeva Goswami is explaining that the potter's wheel is moving, the ants on the wheel are there also, but because the speed is different, so they seem to be moving in different ways, because the ant is also walking on the wheel. Yeah, that's how I understand it. So there is this Kal Chakra, the movement of the wheel of time, and then the planets are also moving. And so that's how it's coming to be different. Is that all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sa Esha Bhagavan Adi Purusha Eva Sakshan Narayano Lokanam.
Sa Esha Bhagavan Adi Purusha Eva Sakshan Narayano Lokanam.
Swastaya Atmanam Trayimayam Karma Vishuddhi Nimitam Kavibhir.
Swastaya Atmanam Trayi Mayam Karma Vishuddhi Nimittam Kavipir.
Apicha Vedena Viji Gyasyamano Dva Dashadha Vibhajyas Shatsu.
Apicha Vedena Viji Jnanashmano Dvadashadavi Vajyasatsu.
Vasantadishu Rutushu Yathopajosham Ritu Gunan Vidadhati.
Vasantadishu tu Gunat Vidati.
The original cause of the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. When great saintly persons, fully aware of the Vedic knowledge, offered prayers to the Supreme Person, he descended to this material world in the form of the sun to benefit all the planets and purify fruitive activities. He divided himself into 12 parts and created seasonal forms, beginning with spring. In this way, he created the seasonal qualities such as heat, cold, and so on. So the Supreme Lord Narayan is the cause of the cosmic manifestation. Everything is happening from the everything is coming from the Supreme Lord Narayan. So even the sun is coming from Narayan. Everything is created by the Lord. So sun is also created by the Lord. Tam etam iha purushastraya vidyaya varna shramacharranupatha.
Tam etam iha purushastvaya vidyaya varnashrama acharana upta.
Ucca vache karma bir amante yoga vitanescha shraddhaya.
Uccavache karmabir atma amnate yoga vitanescha shraddhaya.
Yajanto njasa shreya samadhigachanti.
Yajanto anjasa shreya samadhi gachanti.
According to the system of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas, people generally worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, who is situated as the sun god. With great faith, they worship the Supreme Personality as the Supersoul according to ritualistic ceremonies handed down in the 3 Vedas, such as Agnihotra and similar higher and lower fruitive acts, and according to the process of mystic yoga. In this way, they very easily attain the ultimate goal of life. I think earlier also we read that Lord Narayan is residing on the sun planet. There was one of the kings who was praying to the Surya Narayan. I forgot which king it was, but not very long ago we were reading. So anyway. atha sa esha atmalokanam dyav aprithivyor antarena nabho.
अथ स एष आत्मा लोकानां द्वाव आपो
Valayasya kalachakragato dvadasha masan bhunte rashi samjnang.
मलयस्य कालचक्रगतो द्वादश मासान् भुङ्क्ते राशि संज्ञान्
Samvatsarava yavan masapaksha dvayam diva naktam cheti.
संवत्सरावयवान् मासपक्षद्वयं दिवानक्तं चिति
Sapadakshadvayam upadishanti yavatas shastham amsham bhunjita.
सपादक्षद्वयम् उपदिशन्ति यावताशष्टम् अंशं भुञ्जित
Savai ritu iti upadishyate samvatsara yavaha.
सवेर् उपदिश्यते संवत्सरावयव
The sun god, who is Narayana or Vishnu, the soul of all the worlds, is situated in outer space between the upper and lower portions of the universe. Passing through 12 months on the wheel of time, the sun comes in touch with 12 different signs of the zodiac and assumes 12 different names according to those signs. The aggregate of those 12 months is called a samvatsar, or an entire year. According to lunar calculations, 2 fortnights, one of the waxing moon and the other of the waning, form 1 month. That same period is 1 day and night for the planet Pitralok. According to stellar calculations, a month equals 2 and 1/4 constellations. When the sun travels for 2 months, a season passes, and therefore the seasonal changes are considered parts of the body of the year. So because we read there were these 12 spokes, so becomes 12 months. Yeah, and then 2 months is 1 season, so it's becoming 6 seasons. And then according to the movement of the moon, there is two weeks is the waning moon, and then 2 weeks is the waxing moon, and it becomes like this is 1 month. And this 1 month for us is 1 day and night on Pitralok. So our 1 month is 1 day and night in Pitralok. Yeah, so the calculation based on the movement of the sun and the moon.
Isn't it the same 1 day and night? Is the same? No, 1 day.
1 day and night. So
It's a
24
day
hours.
and night.
Our 1 month,
Is the same. Oh,
yeah, our 1
of a
month
month.
becomes their
month.
24 hours, because earlier sometimes we read, right, like Brahma's 12 hours is our 1000 Vukas.
Right.
And same is his night. So this is like combined 24 hours is our 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is on the Pitralok. Yatha cha yavatardhena nabo vityam pracharati tam kalam ayanam achakshate.
Atha cha yavatar tena nabho vidyam pracharati tam kalam ayanam achakshate.
Thus, the time the sun takes to rotate through half of outer space is called an ayana, or its period of movement in the north or in the south. Thus, the time the sun takes to rotate through half of outer space. So, half is ayana, or its period of movement in the north or in the south. Like the Uttarayan and the Dakshanayan, as we say, right? The 6 months. So this one is called Ayana. When it's in the north, it's called Uttarayan. And when it's in the south, it's called Dakshinayan. Yeah?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Athacha yavan nabho mandalam sahad dyav aprithivyor.
Atha cha yavan mandalam sahat aprityo.
Mandalavyam cards yena sa abunjita tam kalam.
Mandalapyam kartena saha vunjita tam kalam.
Samvatsaram parivatsaram idavatsaram anuvatsaram vatsaram.
Samvatsaram parivatsaram idavatsaram anuvatsaram vatsaram.
Iti bhanor mandya shaigraya samagati be samamanante.
Iti banor mandya sakriya samag gatibi samam mananti.
The sun god has 3 speeds: slow, fast, and moderate. The time he takes to travel entirely around the spheres of heaven, earth, and space at these 3 speeds is referred to by learned scholars by the 5 names Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Edavatsara, Anuvatsara, and Vatsara. According to solar astronomical calculations, each year extends 6 days beyond the calendar year, and according to lunar calculations, each year is 6 days shorter. Therefore, because of the movements of the sun and moon, there is a difference of 12 days between the solar and lunar years. So that's the reason every 3 years then we get the Purushottam Mas, the Adhik Mas comes, because of this difference. Because there's slight difference, so there's a leftover. Then to correct it, then every 3 years there is a correction and that Adhik Mas is added. So as the Samvatsar, Parivatsar, Idavatsar, Anuvatsar, and Vatsar pass by, 2 extra months are added within each 5 years. So this makes, so it's every 5 years, and this extra months which come. This makes a 6th Samvatsar, but because that Samvatsar is extra, the solar system is calculated according to the above 5 names. So that's the Adhik Mas that suddenly comes up, right? Purushottam month, which comes up every few years.
2 extra months. I read.
I'm sorry?
It says 2 extra months.
Yeah, 2 extra months every 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like about 2.5 years
2.5,
each.
yeah.
1 month
Right.
is added then. Yeah. So, any comments, questions? Stop here.
Yeah, too much of information. Too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're having an astronomy class, like what do you call it? Astronomical class, right?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Oh my God.
Head. No,
Calculations and the movements.
oh gosh.
So much detail.
Yeah, but it's so interesting. It's so interesting.
Interesting, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And the importance of everything, I mean, when we were reading about islands, why, those inhabitants used to pray to water, fire, the importance of the elements, and now the importance of every planet, the zodiacs. Oh my God, everything. I mean, we need to pray to so many of them. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Everyone is
Yeah.
important.
Yes.
Yes.
Yesterday, I mean, there were meteor showers. I don't know if you know about that. It's the peak of, some time. I went to see down
How
in the
was it?
yeah, it was. I think you'll be able to see there on the 14th evening after the moon rise. Also, it was
Was it
beautiful. There were so many shooting stars. Beautiful. I mean,
really?
yeah, I was just standing there, and usually, how we used to wish when we were child. We heard that we can wish on a star, but
Yeah.
then how our
Did you
mindset
make
has
some wish?
changed. No, that's what I'm trying to say. I was like, Hare Krishna, oh my God,
Oh,
so
very good.
beautiful. Yes,
Oh,
it was just all that, we need to be grounded. Like I keep saying, I'm understanding this so much. Stay grounded, yeah. That's all I was saying. Yeah, beautiful. It's beautiful.
oh, that's so good.
And
That's
we've been reading about, yeah, planets and sun. So I was looking at the stars. It was so bright yesterday. Normally we can't see. The visibility in Taiwan is not as much. But
Yeah.
after this new moon, it's supposed to be too visible. I mean, these meteor showers were beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Thank you for sharing. And you just said such an important point that everyone is so important. And then how do you
Yes.
worship everyone? So
Yes.
then
We
how
need
can we worship everyone? Worship
Hare
Krishna. By
Krishna.
worshiping
Yes, just
Krishna,
Yeah.
Krishna. Just Krishna.
automatically
Yes.
worshiping.
Yes. Yes.
Automatically we are worshiping everyone, giving everyone the proper respect that they
Yes. Yes.
command, because these are great personalities.
Yes. And it's coming
And
through him. It's
yeah,
so just Krishna. Yeah. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
wow, thank
Krishna.
you.
Krishna. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll
Yeah.
see if I can see some shooting stars
Yes, you
tonight
can.
here.
Yes. Yes, you can. You can. Just go after the moonrise. Maybe it should be, I don't know. When is the moonrise there? Does it get dark in the night?
Moonrise. Yeah, I think the moon would have risen already. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'll have
So
to
I
go out
went
and
after
see.
the class yesterday, so it was like
Ah,
8:15. So it was much higher already. If I would have gone
ah,
earlier before the class, I wouldn't
uh-huh.
be able to see. The moon rose yesterday early in the evening, but I went after the
Ah,
class. We finished, and about 8:15, 8:30, I could see. Yeah. So
really?
yeah, just go and yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah,
I'll
what?
check.
Just look at that. It's very rare to see such things. So
Yeah, so true.
yeah, yeah,
So true.
yeah,
I'll see you then. Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Okay.